Hello, welcome. My name is Christopher George Adams, and today I'll be presenting on why Neuroblast should expand into digital and social media marketing. So, the digital age, it's been a blessing and it's been a curse. It's allowed more people than ever to communicate with one another, and in good and bad ways, right? You know, information, misinformation, they're both equally spread among the internet. However, that's not what this is about. Today, I'm going to be deep diving into why this is going to be effective for Neuroblast. So, I have lots of experience in this area, you know, being 20 years old and being on social media a lot. I know a lot about it. And so, from my understanding, you guys have started some strategies already. I don't think those are working, and I'll tell you why. Pay-per-click in particular, it doesn't target anybody in specific. It's just average internet users, you know. They may or may not need that product, and so when they're there, they have no reason to stay. And media buys, I mean, those are nice for sure, but it doesn't put the product as the main focus as it should be, as you want it to be when you're promoting it. So that's why those are a bad idea. But to find solutions to your problems, we have to go deep into modern psyche. Why does any of this matter for the modern age? You know, what connects the current civilization to social media and the internet? And so I'll be going over basics, you know, public purpose, how to find target audience, you know, conscious and subconscious. How does social media and digital marketing affect that? So let's begin. These are some of the preferred advertising destinations. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Now, what these first three have in common right here is that they have features on their app where you can like scroll through different posts and videos. And I'll get to that later as to why that's important. With Facebook, that will be secondary most important because you can build like communities of people, and you know, they'll talk about things, and I'll also explain why that works later. But for now, if we're gonna get into social media marketing, I say these 4 websites would be our preferred destination. And so, what is doom scrolling? Probably wondering. And why is it important? Well, it's, as I explained earlier, it's when you're scrolling through an app and you have like it scrolls to a new video every time you flick your finger pretty much, right? And why does that matter? What does that do? Well, it satisfies people's dopamine receptors. You know what dopamine is? It's a chemical that makes you feel happy, makes you feel good. It's a reward mechanism, you know? Some other famous dopamine things are like alcohol, nicotine, you know? A lot of people do drugs because you get a hit of dopamine by doing it. And so essentially, this is like the most easily accessible way to do that, because not everybody has access or even wants to do, you know, that kind of thing, right? Like drinking or drugs, right? But everybody has a phone in their pockets. Pretty much majority of people on their phone have social media apps that allow users to scroll through. And so truthfully, I think you'd be missing out on a huge opportunity if you didn't market the new drug on the market, essentially, you know? It's like a drug, not that marketed like it. It's like a drug. Apologies. But yes, I mean, a lot of people do it. I mean, 64% of our country, so that's more. At minimum, that's 150 million people. If you push that a little further, I'd say that's about 165 million, which is a lot of people. 81% of Gen Z, so that's majority of people born in the last 20 years. And then part of our target market, as I'll get to later, 67% of millennials participate in this to get the dopamine out of it, right? Yeah, it's a new addiction. And it's important because if you enter it correctly, you know that you're not forcing anything or doesn't feel obvious that you're an advertisement, you can sort of infiltrate into the market and become into the app essentially, and become the source of dopamine yourself. So when they are scrolling through the videos and they see your ad, they get a hit of dopamine off of it. And maybe over time, if they see that advertisement enough, that creates a happy rapport with your company because they saw your ad, they got dopamine from it, voila, happy customer, they're interested. And I would say repetition is key because maybe one time advertisement won't do it, but if they see it over and over and over again, that would. And it's quick and cost effective because once you get it going and going, it's not like physical marketing where you need to set something up every single time. Once you get the train started, it really doesn't stop. You might have to do maintenance on it every couple months, but other than that, it pretty much runs itself. So it's a quick and cost effective way to customer emotions. And now, one of the other benefits of social media marketing and digital marketing is that you can find a lot new customers in that digital realm. So there's plenty of data out there to find specific demographics about, which group likes this, likes that. It's a whole subsection, but I'm not going to get that deep into it right now. For Neuroblast in particular, our target market should be American millennial mothers because number one, mothers are more likely to be interested in this kind of product for their children. They're more following the parenting accounts on Instagram. A lot of them are, mothers, right? And millennials, a lot of them are hitting the age where they're having kids. They're in their early 30s, later 30s, early 40s even. So be perfect if we came in and targeted them in particular because they're the new generation of parents, right? You create accounts on multiple sites, and essentially what it does, it centralizes your marketing, your brand, your messages, everything in one place so that a user can go to it without even having to go to the website. A lot of people maybe won't have the Neuroblast websites as an app on their phone, but a lot of people have Instagram on their phone or Twitter, right? And if they go somewhere and they find Neuroblast, they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then they click on the website, that's how you get another visit, get more people interested in the product. So that's why it's important to do that. And you, as stated earlier, pull them in through consistency, a self-assistant strategy. And one of the biggest things about it is that user-generated content is huge. You play your cards right, you make a good product. The users can make their own sort of messages about it, right? Whether good or bad. And if you have something centralized, they can pull from. They can pretty much do marketing for you. And so basically, your initial investment of boosting those initial advertisements are paying off because people saw that and now are making their own and it spreads. It's almost like a virus, almost a good virus, of course. But yeah, that's why it's really good. And so, what is the actual marketing plan I have for Neuroblast? Well, utilizing social media and digital marketing, I think before we go into anything, the things we want to highlight and ignore. Highlight the IQ improvement. So it boosts kids' IQ by 20%. That's huge. We could market that. I don't think anybody else on the market has something like that makes your kids genuinely smarter. Ignore the fact that it's made from gene splicing though. A lot of people don't know what that is, don't know what that entails. It sounds scary. And for a product for babies, you don't want people to feel scared or terrified. Just let's leave it out. Let's leave it out. And the general message is, it's a product for geniuses and change makers. You give your kid this product, and maybe it becomes the next Albert Einstein, or something like that. And I have a commercial about that too. Commercial. There's a kid walking through a store. He taps his parents on the leg, points to the product, ooh, that's a good looking product. Parents okay, I'll get this for you. This is just food though, okay. They get home, baby eats the product. And you get a zoom in shot on their brain. It's like all these neurons firing, bam, bam, bam. And they get up out of their chair. They walk over to another room. The parent follows them, and the baby has built a jetpack or a nuclear reactor or like a a hang gliding device or something cool, you know, just like a fun little commercial where the baby does something, right? And that'll get you your emotional things, right? And for emotional connection, right? Credibility connection. So my plan would be to put together care packages for parenting influencers. So I went on a website that has a lot of influencers in different categories. I found 3: Gina Anguiano, Italian, Carly Hero Neharuk. I saw that they had a lot of followers, high engagement rates, so I thought they would be perfect to give a care package to. They make content, like, of course, related to parenting and being a mom, so already the market's there, just have to utilize it, right? You know, give them the product, tell them what it is, tell them what it does, and they'll promote it for us. We can pay them we could pay them and they could like deliberately promote it, or we could just give it to them like on the download. Maybe they decide to promote it on their own. And part of that also, we could do that for non-famous people too. Like we could find on Facebook individual like parenting groups, and there's plenty of people there that are, you know, mothers, fathers, or just guardians in general, whatever they are, and we give them like a sample of the product, and you know, they like it, we tell them to post about it, and that builds rapport among the average people, because while with parenting influencers, that builds the credibility connection, right? But not everybody listens to people above them. A lot of people just want to try things for themselves, or just want to hear from somebody like them, like the average person, right? And so that's what doing that would do. That's like your general logical connections. Like, okay, I got to see the logic of it myself. I saw how it works myself. Now I'm going to tell everybody else in my parenting group or in my community about it. You know, we find these people via online and digital marketing. You know, or if people personally message us about this kind of thing, we can tell them that way. And so, addressing final concerns. So while sites like Facebook are used for gossip and politics, the law of balance states that the inverse can be true as well. You can go to Facebook to find knowledge and have good discussions, you know, about parenting and other stuff. So I wouldn't say, don't put everybody on that site into the same boat, right? You know, our presence there will help them find this product, find a solution that they didn't know existed before. But now, since we're on Facebook or social media, now they do know. And in terms of misinformation or information, it applies as the same thing in the physical realm. As long as we have a good legal team, we'll be completely fine, okay? If anybody raises any questions or buys off of misinformation, we can take care of that. That liability would still be present even if we just sold the product physically. If we were worried about that, we wouldn't be selling the product at all, right? And as I said earlier, investing in ad space and boosting your posts is worth it, because there's some advertisers on Instagram that even like I see a lot, and I've memorized it to a T just because I've seen it so much. And I've looked at the guy's profile that advertises a lot and I've gotten curious about everything that entails or that comes with it, right? So it's absolutely a worthwhile investment. I'd recommend doing it. So if you have any questions, just email me. I'm done for now. See you next time.